Paul Fitz, welcome to WRAL.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Affordable housing, huge issue in Raleigh. We've seen some drips of progress over the years, but there's still so much to tackle. What's your plan to address this?
It's a twofold plan, actually. Number one, I want to use state-owned property. The city of Raleigh has 161 state-owned properties. They don't contribute any property tax to the city. Again, when I discussed that before, they said, well, you can't change the laws. I'm not trying to change the laws. I need the state to give us property so we can turn that into housing. And we need to because of our economic downturn, especially in downtown Raleigh. So if there's no land acquisition cost for the developer, therefore you can make housing cheaper, more affordable, and make it more available at the same time.
On your website, you talk about wanting to move the prisons from downtown Raleigh.
Absolutely.
Talk about that as it pertains to affordable housing.
Well, again, the state of North Carolina over the last 5 years has decommissioned 3 prisons. You know, why they left 2 prisons in the most expensive real estate in the entire state just boggles my mind. Both prisons are outdated. Central Prison came into effect sometime in the late 1800s. I believe both facilities could easily be removed and allowing housing to take place in those areas. And again, it's a non-taxable space. If we have housing, if we have owner-occupied housing on those spaces, that land becomes taxable, those properties start to contribute to the city of Raleigh.
Let's talk now about downtown revitalization. Sure. We know that there are pockets of really interesting, energetic places across downtown Raleigh, but they're often woven together with a lot of uninteresting places that some might say lack character, and as a result, makes the fabric of Raleigh kind of have a bit of an unidentified character. That's what some might say. Right. So what's your plan to change that, to build a greater sense of character and more continuous energy and vibrancy throughout the city? Well,
it kind of goes back to the underutilized spaces that we have now. You know, the city of Raleigh has about 1 million square feet that's completely underutilized as far as commercial property is concerned. But going back to the state-owned properties, we have to make downtown more livable now to make the city more vibrant. If you go back to 2017 when I ran for mayor then, the hot topic at the time was light rail. And I said I was against light rail. It was a 19th century technology and we're a 21st century workforce. And what I meant by that was we were building a telecommuting workforce. Well, when we've done that, we vacated 20 to 25% of our workforce in downtown Raleigh. They're now remote. Since they're remote, they're building their communities. They're building Clayton, they're building Wake Forest, they're building all the other towns around us. Nobody's coming into downtown Raleigh anymore. So since the economy has shifted, we have to shift our game plan with it, which we have not taken any steps to do that. I know we're building apartments downtown, which require services, you know, businesses will flourish, but we need more owner-occupied properties. We have to step off the 10-year lease and we need to focus on the 30-year fixed. If you make it owner-occupied, people invest in their communities more that way.
What's your position on land trust acquisitions, like where the homeowner owns the home, but the city or the state owns the property?
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, again, as a mortgage lender, it also makes it a little bit more difficult, and you have to be, you have to come up with different ideas for financing those properties. And the truth is, the people who buy those properties are not getting the same amount of equity back. If they're going to put their investment into that area, they need to be rewarded if they sell that property. But you have to realize now that taxes have increased on a lot of people. You can consider a worker who worked for the city of Raleigh for 30 years, and he's paid off his property, he's lived in it for 30 years. Well, now his property taxes are doubled. If he's on a fixed income, he gets a little bit of Social Security, a little bit of a pension. Now he can't afford to live in the house he paid off years ago. I mean, we have to think about these things to diversify our tax base.
To public safety now. You talk about wanting to support our officers, in fact, by adding 400 of them. How do you recruit and retain 400 officers at a time when it's very difficult to recruit and we already have vacancies?
So the last Republican, I'm a Republican, obviously, the only Republican candidate in the race. The last Republican to be mayor of this city was Paul Cowell. And at his time in 2001, there were a baseline of 800 police officers. We're still using that same baseline 23 years later. our population has doubled, our area has grown. We need to get away from that baseline and understand that the matrix has changed a little bit. Now, recruiting and retention. It's been very difficult to say that it's been a focus on the city of Raleigh to recruit police officers. They focused more on parks and a few other projects. I don't think they've really had their focus on bringing police officers in. You've got a lot of cities throughout the entire nation who have decided to defund their police departments, and so police officers are leaving those police departments. I think it can be an incentive for them to come here as long as they know that we can pay them to be here and work for us.
How complicated and difficult will it be to try to rally the council to make that kind of significant financial investment?
Everything's complicated. But it shouldn't be. Again, you know, if it was easy for the council to say, hey, we could put a bond on the ballot for parks for $500 million, but we can't invest in our public safety. I think if we change our focus and understand that these are kitchen table issues, these are people who want to be protected, and they're paying double their taxes now. I think they want to invest into it, but I think they want to invest in the right reasons. I think the council is coming more around to a public safety mentality now.
There are 5 candidates for Raleigh mayor in this race.
Yeah.
Most of the issues that all candidates talk about on their platforms are the same: affordable housing, public safety, transportation, et cetera. You have a proposal in your platform that is different than any other candidate, and that is that you want to build a casino in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Why and how do you do this?
So gaming is coming whether we want it or not. I can just tell you that if you go west of the state, the Cherokee have 2 casinos west of I-26. Down in Kings Mountain, which is west of I-85, it's just on the west side of I-85. The Catawba tribe has just now started their 2 Kings facility. And the Cherokee tribe also has a facility in Danville, Virginia now. Gaming is all around us. If you go to the Danville facility, there's hardly any Virginia license plates in that parking lot. They're North Carolina license plates through and through. Yep. Our workforce and our population has diversified. Our workforce and our population, they came from areas where they were just around whatever city they lived in. If they were New York, they were Atlantic City, or if they were in Philadelphia, they were close to Atlantic City. But a lot of these major cities now have those facilities already in place. It's not difficult to bring one here. The only difference between myself and what the General Assembly was trying to do, they want to tax the casinos for 22%. I want to tax them for 22%, but I want all of that money to go into public safety. We don't have a problem talking about the education lottery. We shouldn't have a problem talking about the public safety gaming that we can gain. And I'll further it. You know, we have a lot of illegal facilities here in Wake County now. It is up to the DA, it is up to the Sheriff's Department to shut those down, but if you drive 4 miles from my house, I can show you a dozen of them that exist. I mean, if we have these things going on now, I'd rather shut those down and have a taxable facility where we'd have better shopping, better dining. Arts and entertainment. I would like to see the casino entertainment side take away shows from DPAC and leave them here in Raleigh. I think it would be better for us and we wouldn't have to drive to Durham to spend our money on shows.
Okay, you're elected day one. What's your first priority?
First priority is police. I will talk to Estelle and I will, ask her what she really needs. I believe our police force is completely underworked. I think they're overworked, they're underpaid. I feel like they need some help. And I know everybody says that the studies show that we only need 100, we only need 100. But when you look at the exponentials in our city's growth, they can't make all the calls that they get every day. It's almost impossible for them to do what they do. Police is the #1 issue for me.
Okay. Paul Fitz, thank you so much for joining us
here. Thank you. My pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Ashley.